Which Buddhist path speaks most clearly to the way your heart seeks peace? Welcome to Sleepy Buddha, a quiet place to rest your mind, release what feels heavy. Let each our stories and teaching guide you towards stillness, deep rest, and a calmer heart. Today, we will gently explore Buddhism's three paths: clarity, compassion, and transformation. You will learn how Theravada guides the mind toward clarity through discipline, mindfulness, and personal insight. How Mahayana opens the heart through compassion and the wish to ease the suffering of others. And how Vajrayana teaches transformation by turning life's challenges into a path of awakening. When people first hear that Buddhism has different schools, they sometimes imagine a disagreement, as if one path must be right and the others must be wrong. But a gentler way to understand it is this: the Buddha offered medicine for suffering, and human beings have many different illnesses of the mind. Some people need clarity, some need compassion, some need a powerful way to transform fear, desire, grief, and confusion into wisdom. Over time, three great streams of Buddhist practice became especially known: Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. These names may sound distant at first, almost like old doors carved into a monastery wall. Yet, behind each door is a very human question. Theravada asks, how can I see clearly enough to be free from suffering? Mahayana asks, how can my awakening become a blessing for all beings? Vajrayana asks, how can every part of this life, even the difficult parts, become a path to awakening? Each school carries its own tone, its own methods, its own history, and its own beauty. But all three are pointing toward a mind that is no longer trapped by confusion. To understand them, imagine a mountain at dawn. At the bottom of the mountain, the valley is filled with mist. People are walking in different directions because they see different openings through the trees. One traveler chooses the clean stone path. It is narrow, disciplined, and quiet. Another chooses the wide path where many people walk together, helping one another when the road becomes steep. A third chooses the hidden path through caves, firelight, and sharp cliffs, guided closely by a teacher who knows the dangerous turns. From below, the paths look separate. From above, they rise toward the same sky. Theravada is often called the Way of the Elders. Its spirit is careful, direct, and deeply practical. It honors the early teachings and places great importance on what can be observed in one's own body, breath, mind, and daily conduct. In Theravada practice, liberation is not treated as a beautiful idea to admire from far away. It is something approached step by step through ethical living, meditation, and wisdom. The practitioner learns to watch experience as it is. A sensation appears, changes, and fades. A thought arrives, stays for a moment, and disappears. An emotion rises like weather and then dissolves. This is why Theravada can feel like a clear mirror. It does not ask you to decorate the mind. It asks you to see the mind. It teaches that suffering grows when we cling to what cannot remain, when we treat passing things as if they were permanent, when we defend a fixed self that is always changing. So the practice becomes simple but not easy. Sit, breathe, notice, return, speak truthfully, cause less harm. Observe craving without obeying it. Observe anger without becoming it. Observe fear without building a home inside it. A person following this path may become deeply familiar with silence, not the silence of emptiness as loneliness, but the silence of a room after a storm has passed. The mind gradually learns that it does not have to chase every desire, answer every insult, complete every story, or believe every anxious thought. The gift of Theravada is precision. It shows us that peace is not found by escaping life, but by understanding life so clearly that we no longer grasp at it in the same desperate way. For modern people, this teaching is incredibly useful. We live in a world that constantly pulls attention outward. Notifications call us. Opinions pressure us. Deadlines tighten around us. The mind becomes trained to jump from one thing to another until stillness feels unfamiliar. Theravada offers a return to direct experience. One breath, one step, one moment of honesty. It reminds us that before we can heal the world, we must understand the movements of our own mind. Not because we are selfish, but because a confused mind spreads confusion and a clear mind becomes a place of safety. But Buddhism did not remain only in this form. As the teachings traveled, another great emphasis began to shine more brightly: compassion without limit. This is the heart of Mahayana, often called the Great Vehicle. The word great is not meant to insult other paths. It expresses the vast intention at the center of the tradition, not only to awaken for oneself, but to walk for the sake of all beings. In Mahayana, the image of the Bodhisattva becomes central. A Bodhisattva is one who sees suffering everywhere and responds with a vow: I will not seek peace only for myself, while others remain lost in darkness. This does not mean the Bodhisattva has no personal practice. In fact, genuine compassion requires a strong inner foundation. But the direction of the heart expands. Instead of asking only, how can I be free? Mahayana asks, how can my freedom help others become free? The suffering of another person is not seen as separate from one's own path. A crying child, an angry coworker, a lonely parent, a stranger carrying invisible grief, each becomes part of the field of practice. Mahayana brings a different warmth into the room. Theravada may feel like a clear flame that burns away illusion. Mahayana feels like a lamp placed in a window so travelers outside can find their way home. It teaches that wisdom and compassion are two wings of the same bird. Wisdom without compassion can become cold. Compassion without wisdom can become exhausted. Together, they allow the heart to serve without drowning and to understand without becoming detached from love. One of the most beautiful ideas often associated with Mahayana is that awakening is not reserved for a few distant saints. The seed of awakening is present in every being. Beneath anger, fear, jealousy, pride, and confusion, there is still a capacity for clarity. Beneath a person's mistakes, there is still a longing not to suffer. This view can soften how we look at others. It does not excuse harmful actions, but it reminds us that every person is more than their worst moment. Every being is carrying causes and conditions we may not see. In daily life, Mahayana practice may look like patience when someone is difficult. It may look like choosing not to win an argument because peace matters more. It may look like listening carefully when someone feels unseen. It may look like giving quietly, forgiving slowly, and remembering that our small actions travel farther than we know. A kind word can interrupt a chain of pain. A moment of patience can prevent regret. A gentle response can become medicine for someone who expected only judgment. Around this point in the reflection, let us pause for a soft reminder. Thank you for resting here with Sleepy Buddha. If this lesson helps your mind grow calmer or your heart feel lighter, please consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who may need a peaceful moment today. Your support helps us continue offering gentle teachings for mindfulness, healing, inner peace, and deep rest. Now, we come to Vajrayana, often called the diamond vehicle. If Theravada is the clear mirror and Mahayana is the open heart, Vajrayana is the lightning that reveals the whole landscape in a single flash. It is a powerful and highly symbolic form of Buddhism, especially associated with Tibetan traditions, though tantric and esoteric elements have appeared in other parts of Buddhist history as well. Vajrayana is not simply a collection of mysterious rituals. At its deepest, it is a way of transforming ordinary perception into awakened perception. The diamond is an important symbol because it is both brilliant and unbreakable. It can cut through confusion, yet it is not easily damaged. Vajrayana teaches that the energy of the mind does not need to be rejected. Desire, anger, fear, pride, and grief are not treated only as enemies to be pushed away. They are powerful energies that, with proper guidance, discipline, and understanding, can be transformed. This is a delicate teaching because without wisdom, intense energy can create more confusion. But with skillful practice, what once trapped the mind can become the very material of awakening. Imagine a person holding a burning coal. If they panic, they may injure themselves and others. If they understand fire, they can use it to warm a home, cook food, or create light. Vajrayana looks at the raw forces of human life in this way. It does not deny their danger. It studies their power. Through visualization, mantra, ritual, devotion, and close teacher-student guidance, the practitioner learns to see body, speech, and mind as expressions of a deeper sacred reality. For someone unfamiliar with it, Vajrayana may appear strange. Why visualize enlightened figures? Why use sacred sounds? Why create mandalas? Why speak of deities if Buddhism is often described as a path of insight? A simple way to understand this is that Vajrayana uses imagination not as fantasy, but as training. The mind is already imagining all day. It imagines threats, identities, future failures, old wounds, and stories about who we are. Vajrayana redirects this imaginative power toward awakening. Instead of rehearsing fear, the practitioner rehearses wisdom. Instead of identifying with the wound itself, the practitioner learns to recognize a more spacious and luminous nature. In modern life, Vajrayana offers a challenging but meaningful reminder. Nothing has to be wasted. The very places where we struggle may contain hidden strength. Anxiety can reveal where we are clinging. Anger can reveal what needs compassion and boundaries. Grief can reveal love. Desire can reveal the mind's search for wholeness. When approached with honesty and guidance, difficulty becomes a gate instead of a wall. Still, it is important to speak carefully. Vajrayana is not a shortcut in the shallow sense. It is not a way to skip ethics, mindfulness, compassion, or humility. A fast river is not safer just because it is fast. It requires skill, guidance, and respect. The deeper message is not hurry. The deeper message is transformation. The practitioner does not merely wish for enlightenment later. They learn to bring awakened view into this very body, this very breath, this very life. So now we have 3 great teachings before us. Theravada offers clarity, Mahayana offers compassion, Vajrayana offers transformation. But if we hold them too rigidly, we may miss their shared heart. Theravada also has compassion. Mahayana also requires discipline and insight. Vajrayana also rests on ethical foundations and the wish to benefit beings. These are not 3 separate religions fighting for ownership of truth. They are 3 great expressions of the Buddhist response to suffering. A useful way to remember them is through 3 questions. When your mind is noisy, ask the Theravada question. What is actually happening right now? Not what do I fear is happening, not what story am I adding, but what is truly present in this breath, this body, this moment. When your heart is closing, ask the Mahayana question. How can I respond in a way that reduces suffering, not increases it? When life becomes intense, ask the Vajrayana question. How can this energy be transformed into wisdom rather than acted out as confusion? These questions can become simple tools for everyday living. Imagine someone criticizes your work. The first reaction may be defensiveness. The Theravada lens helps you pause and notice tightness in the chest, heat in the face, thoughts of self-protection. The Mahayana lens helps you consider, perhaps this person is stressed. Perhaps I can listen without losing my dignity. Perhaps I can respond with firmness and kindness. The Vajrayana lens asks, can the energy of embarrassment become motivation to learn? Or the heat of anger become clarity about what matters? Or imagine you are lying awake at night, unable to rest. Theravada teaches you to return to the breath and observe thoughts as passing events. Mahayana invites you to soften towards yourself and all others who are also awake with worry. Vajrayana encourages you to transform the darkness into a field of quiet awareness, letting the mind imagine peace not as escape, but as a deep presence surrounding the body. 3 approaches, 1 suffering, 3 medicines. This is why the differences between Buddhist schools do not need to become a source of confusion. They can become a source of richness. Human beings are not identical. Some are naturally analytical and need a precise map. Some are moved by devotion and service. Some are transformed through symbol, beauty, and intense inner practice. A wise path does not demand that every person enter through the same gate. What matters most is sincerity. A person can use the language of any school and still remain trapped in pride. Another person can know very little terminology and still become kinder, calmer, and more awake. The true test of practice is not how impressive it sounds, but how it changes the way we live. Are we less controlled by craving? Are we less cruel when disappointed? Are we more honest with ourselves? Are we more able to sit with pain without spreading it? Are we becoming a refuge, even in small ways, for the people around us? The three schools can also teach us how to respect difference. In religion, philosophy, work, and family life, people often mistake difference for opposition. But difference can be a form of completeness. The hand has fingers, each shaped differently, yet all belong to the same body. A garden has many plants, each needing different care, yet all are nourished by the same rain. Buddhism's three great paths remind us that truth can wear different robes without losing its essence. If you are drawn to Theravada, honor the quiet discipline of seeing clearly. Build your life around honesty, simplicity, and mindful attention. Let each breath teach you that nothing needs to be possessed to be understood. If you are drawn to Mahayana, honor the vast heart that refuses to abandon others. Let compassion become practical, not only emotional. Help where you can, rest when you must, and remember that kindness also includes yourself. If you are drawn to Vajrayana, honor the courage to transform life directly, but do so with humility, guidance, and respect for the depth of the path. And if you are unsure which path speaks to you, there is no need to force an answer. Sometimes, the path reveals itself by the medicine we need most. When we are scattered, we need clarity. When we are self-focused, we need compassion. When we are overwhelmed by strong emotions, we need transformation. The Dharma is not a cage. It is a set of skillful means, helping the mind awaken according to its conditions. Take a slow breath now. Imagine the three paths again. One path is quiet and precise, lined with simple stones. One path is wide and warm, filled with travelers helping one another. One path is bright and mysterious, turning cliffs into gateways. Now imagine them rising together through the mist. Higher and higher, the separation becomes less important. The summit is not a place of argument. It is a place where the heart understands. Near the end of this lesson, let us offer one more gentle invitation. Thank you for spending this peaceful time with Sleepy Buddha. If this reflection has helped you understand Buddhism with more calm and openness, please subscribe and share it with someone who may appreciate a quiet teaching tonight. Your kindness helps this channel continue creating gentle Buddhist lessons for rest, mindfulness, compassion, and inner peace. In the end, Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana are not merely subjects to study. They are mirrors for our own inner life. The clear mirror asks us to see honestly. The open heart asks us to care deeply. The diamond path asks us to transform bravely. You do not need to master every term tonight. You only need to notice which teaching softens something inside you. Perhaps tomorrow, when a difficult feeling arises, you will remember the clear mirror and simply observe. Perhaps when someone suffers near you, you will remember the open heart and respond with kindness. Perhaps when life feels heavy, you will remember the diamond and ask how this very moment can become part of the path. Let the three schools rest in your mind like three lamps in a quiet temple. One lamp shines with clarity. One shines with compassion. One shines with transformation. Together, they do not compete. They illuminate. And as their light settles gently within you, may your own path become a little clearer, your heart a little wider, and your life a little more awake.